Welcome everyone to the Apex Legends African Throwdown, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming Africa. Now, of course, you know, we're going to go back to our Group C matches and finally fix them and finally finish them and finally see who's going to be going through to the top 10 slots for the next phase. But first off, let's take a look at your schedule to see what you are in store for tonight. As it stands, of course, we have already finished our first map, so the only maps that we'll be seeing tonight are match 2, 3, and 4 to finish off those points, and hopefully this time we won't be dropping any Apex updates. Touch wood. Okay, yeah, we're fine. We're cool. And on that note, let's take a look on the prize pool to remind you about what these teams are playing for and what they are competing here. So, of course, we've got a total prize pool of $1,000, with 4th place taking $100, 3rd place taking $200, 2nd place taking $300, and your champions of the African Throwdown taking $400, and all the bragging rights that they are the best in Africa for Apex Legends. On that note, how exactly do they manage to get to the next phase? How exactly do they manage to get themselves a share of that prize pool? And that's, of course, points. Points after all those matches are tallied up. And if you take a look at it, the main things are placements and kills. Of course, your placements, you get a derivative of those points, with 1st place taking 12, 2nd place taking 9, etc., on your screen. As you can see, at 16th to 20th, not getting a single point. So definitely don't want to be those first 4 teams going out. And naturally, we do reward that aggression. We do reward those kill games. We do reward that absolute skill that we've seen thus far. So per kill, you get 1 point. And as we know, we've already had 1 game for Group C. So let's take a look at those overall standings and remind you of the teams and groups that we'll be seeing tonight. And Tendo, if you wouldn't mind, please take us through it.
So it feels like we're stuck in time here, ladies and gentlemen, as we enter for the 2nd day of Group C games. Obviously, we saw a bit of a Nibble and WRG story in that first game that we watched on a Tuesday. Following them was Laggy Boys, SimplySecluded, who put up a really good show for us, coming in with what we didn't really expect them to really do when, you know, competing against Nibble and WRG, holding their own. Straight after that is S4, SyThic, Noob, Goats, Alpha, Carnivore, Full Senders, and DefinitelyNotSweats, hoping they're going to sweat a little bit harder tonight.
And for the rest of Group C, of course, from 11th, we've got Nibble Staff, we've got the BOIS, we've got Zone Reapers, Nexus Gaming, Demons in Heaven, Outlaws NG, Dads of War, Early Access, TMCB, and 16-9 coming through, of course. And some really, really awesome representation in not only this group in terms of the countries that we're seeing, but also just, I mean, the fact is we've got a Nibble Staff team with the Nibble main team in one group, which I find interesting, because, you know, if the 2 Nibble teams run into each other, it's going to be a fun time in the Nibble Discord. So I'm waiting for it. I'm keen to see it. Ira, from your side, what are some of the teams that you are looking forward to seeing today?
Honestly, it's the teams, Laggy Boys and Secluded. We saw them really try their utmost in day number 1 of Group C, and I'm really looking forward to see how they can utilize that sort of gameplay to their advantage. What did they learn from game number 1? What can they implement it into today's sort of games? And yeah, those are the teams I'm really looking out forward to. You would love a story from the Nibble staff, Glenn and them, to sort of represent from their end and get into the semi-finals. That would be interesting as well.
That'd be really, really interesting. I think the Nibble staff team would be over the moon. And obviously, they will never let the Nibble main team forget it. Ever.
Yeah, definitely.
Never let them forget it. But it should be interesting. And I mean, Group C, Tender, we had this discussion, right? We were expecting WRG. We were expecting Nibble. It was the Nibble WRG show. But we also had Secluded come through, of course, in that 3rd place spot. We had an absolute cracker of a last game with that last zone. Just chaos, just absolute chaos, but ultimately Nibble played it beautifully. WRG was absolutely sandwiched. It was chaos. What are you expecting from today? Do you think the teams have had some time to, you know, a little bit adjust, maybe re-strategize and go back to the drawing board and figure out a new plan of action today?
You know, what I'm most interested to see today is what the zone pool is going to be like, right? Because I feel like in that first game, we kind of got a glimpse of what the night is going to be, you know, because usually in our broadcasts, we always get this I feel like it's a bit of a broadcast curse where the zone keeps pulling towards one direction. So I was really wondering if the zone was going to keep pulling towards that side, and we're really just going to have Nibble and WRG dominating that area and pretty much dictating all the rotations around the map, because we did see a lot of squads as well making late rotations, as the norm that's been in these group stages for the most part. Maybe it's going to dial down a little bit more when we get to the semifinals. But today, if zone doesn't really favor Nibble and WRG, I feel like it's going to be kind of interesting, right? Because then one squad is going to be faced with probably the hordes of teams that are going to be rotating on one side of the map, and vice versa, right? So yeah, man, I'm pretty excited for today's games. I feel like everybody's gotten a chance to have a little bit of a breath of fresh air. Maybe some people needed that breath of fresh air, and they'll come in today and really show us what they've got.
It might be that, and I mean, we did speak a lot about last week's game. Well, not last week, this week's game. Again, it's so weird the timing to be here on a Thursday, but it's fine. We're here. Monday's games. There we go. I finally got my days right. Monday's games were a little bit awkward in terms of some of the teams rotating through. There was a lot of fights in the zone, obviously, and I remember we had 14 teams left. I blinked. I think I replied to Twitch chat. I came back, and we had 4 teams. Yeah. It was a matter of seconds that everyone just died, and it was rotations coming out of zone after those fights. After you managed to survive, bam, the zone gets you, or bam, you're rotated into another team and you're out for the count. Iro, from your side, are there any sites that you think teams should really be focusing on, points of interest that they should be looking for, for loot, and also for those very, very crucial rotations?
Honestly, the sites that they can go to is where they've dropped. I don't really want them to change their drop spots, because if you do remember, it was quite a wide spread from the teams. The only thing that sort of made that blink sort of come into play, where 14-4, is those late rotations that we saw from the team. So honestly, I think they had the loadout. You could see them using as much consumables in the zone and so forth. So their loot was to the best of par for their preferred rotation towards the end game. It is just that confidence that we maybe not seen from the teams that maybe could be better with the warm-ups. You could basically say warm-ups to game 2 with Tuesday and Wednesday not coming into effect. But yeah, that's what I would love to see, is these early rotations, playing a Gibraltar to their advantage, disengaging with an Octane, Q, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I generally did like that spread out that we got from the different sites and different teams and so forth.
And I mean, Tendo, by now, we've seen so many of the groups. This is going to be the last group that we need to seed into the semifinals. What have you been thinking about the compositions that you've seen thus far?
Yeah, I mean, look, in terms of just the compositions, I think people are sticking to what is pretty much meta and what's going to work for a competitive environment. That's why we're seeing lots of Gibraltar players, lots of Seer players. We've got the Octanes as well coming through. So I think even Caustic sneaking here and there, it makes a lot of sense, especially with how aggressive all the teams are on their rotations. And it just helps dealing with so many hordes of players on top of you, which ends up happening to a lot of teams, right? So I think composition-wise, I think it's going to be interesting when we get to semifinals if teams are going to still be using the same comps, or they're going to start to adapt to where we're going to have kind of like a stock standard with just that one team that's in the lobby kind of causing a little bit of havoc in the lobby. So right now it still seems like everybody's playing what they're comfortable with, what they feel will work for the situation.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I mean, I'm loving the fact that we're seeing a little bit more of some of the other heroes popping in there. We've seen a few Valkyries, we've seen some Revenants as well. Not as many, which is interesting compared to the first season, of course. I think there's been discussions had amongst the players. So Riftane is not so prevalent here, which is good to see. And of course, some changes are coming through with Season 10, making that possible as well. Caustic with his buff. It's been interesting to watch that actually come through in the competitive scene for the African Throwdown thus far, and it's definitely made an impact, especially on our first games. This week actually was also just an interesting set of games. If you have any advice that you would give to these teams, Ira, I'm going to start with you. What would it be?
Again, focus on those rotations. If you are going to be fighting in zone, try finish up as quick as possible, or maybe play out to disengage from the situation as best. When it comes to positioning, always try get onto a height. That way you know for a fact that you do have the advantage over your oppositions. Place your cues at the right time. do not panic, especially with Gibraltar. That shield is very, very crucial. If you get tapped, don't immediately press that Q down, because those rotations towards the center of the map when it's in the end games or whatever the case may be the crucial moment for you to press the Q and get that Gibby bubble out. And that's basically what I have to say.
All right. Tender, anything to add onto that?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think everybody's picking Sia, and it feels like lots of people don't really understand how pivotal it is picking your POIs and using those recon survey beacons that are spread around the map, right? I think there's a big reason why Respawn has kind of shaped the game to have so many recon legends, because it's really crucial to prioritize rotations and get a good spot in the zone, because ultimately, you know, yes, kill points can cover up a lot of your points, but just guaranteeing yourself in a top position, you know, you get to dictate a lot of the pacing of the game, because you get to see a lot of squads in front of you, how they're playing, how they're rotating, the spots that they're picking, and what kind of situations they get themselves in. And it just gives you a little bit more foresight in terms of what exactly your team needs to do to end up winning the game. Even if it's not always the god spot, right? It's always good to just have a good position in the final zone.
These games have been so interesting, and I feel like we've had such a variety of groups. I mean, we can take some time to talk about this week. Obviously, we didn't get our Group C games when we expected them, but Group D was surprising as what we would have expected to be the last group. They really came through with some wonderful, wonderful surprises. Tendo, do you want to run us through some of what we saw with those Group D games?
Yeah, I mean, it was a hectic group. I think, you know, it was pretty competitive, and there was a really good pool of talent, a really good pool of representation. I mean, we saw JSN pretty much dominate the lobby for the most part kill wise, but their positioning in some situations was a little bit lacking. Obviously, we had carries come through as well as a streamer team, causing a big show for everybody. Really exciting to see them clutch up at that final game. All in all, I feel like the Group D matches were really exciting, fun to watch, and I just hope today is going to be exactly the same, as everybody comes in with a little bit of a rebirth into tonight's games.
Well, can Group C bring the action and absolute fire that they did on Monday, and will they replicate their success, or will some other teams actually jump in and take the W for our second game? First game of tonight, but second game overall for Group C as they fight tooth and nail to get themselves into those top 10 slots. I'm going to give it over to your amazing casters, Tendo and IroOG, to take you through the action for the first match of tonight. Guys, take it away.
All right, it is the second match in this Group C fixture. Right now, Nibble and WRG are feeling comfortable coming in to the day without too much pressure here. And this kind of feels like a throwback to all the way back in the first Apex Legends preseason, where the games in the groups used to be best of threes. You know, I feel like it's quite interesting coming into this one where it's still a best of four format right here, but it's technically a best of three. Do you play differently now, knowing that you only have 3 games on the day here?
Honestly, for the most part, hopefully they were listening, you know, to the introduction today, to the outro on Monday, you know, where we emphasize that rotating early is very key. I'm hoping that some of these teams took some notes, and you know they will be implementing that, not going into the zone fighting and so forth. So I'm hoping that, you know, within these 3 games we are seeing a different sort of aspect from these oppositions and teams that we have right here, especially for that bottom 11. I'm hoping they put a lot of time, because you know it's like a gift to them that update sort of came out, so that they can have that breather, so that they can get in as much as they can. And hopefully, Tendo, that's what we're going to be witnessing this time around.
Yeah, definitely. As we come through onto World's Edge here, ladies and gentlemen, it is the African Throwdown hosted by NODWIN Gaming. And we hope you guys are having a good evening. The players are ready, dropping on in, and I'm curious to see if anybody's swapping up their loot spots, swapping up their drop spots. But for the most part, I think we're going to see similar drops for a lot of these teams. And it'll be interesting to see where the zone pulls here, because it's pretty much going to dictate the pacing of where a lot of the teams have to start rotating. But places like Fragment obviously getting contested. The loot's always good there. There's a beacon for the squads to get, scan the zone, plan the rotations out. We've been talking about how crucial it is. WRG making their steady voyage towards the thermal station, tried and home. And I feel like Nibble's probably landing there at launch site, probably on their normal loot path. But so many squads there up at the north, eh? Too many squads, I feel.
And this is where we basically saw the zone sort of being fought, or these players meeting each other. It's that north side is really contested for the most part. Even Nibble getting a split drop, the dome and launch site, so they even comfortable to their extent, knowing that nobody's really landing in the south, and that's where we see a lot of the players sort of drop towards these mid games and end games, is because it's bound to happen. We're rotating in smaller zones. You're going to find yourself in a sticky situation.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's because they know that the south side is dangerous. Nibble and WRG are dominating that area, so it's going to be a little bit tough for them. But we're here in Skyhook, and there's a lot of teams stacked on top of each other. We do have the team of SimplySecluded, who came third place in that first game we did see, and we're hoping to see them put up some good numbers. Alpha Carnivore. Up top here is Papa Joe with the Sentinel in hand, trying to look for a little bit of contact. Can't really find anything. Armors on both teams isn't really in a good situation. And I mean, we never really touch on the armors, Evo shields are such a gift in Apex Legends, especially if you have one teammate who is really good with snipers, with the marksman rifles, maybe even the bow check, if it's to your fancy, leveling up the armors for the team, keeping that damage stacking.
Yeah, that's something that I don't think a lot of these teams actually, strategize the most. Is that, like you say, you farm the Evo, you get that Evo damage to upgrade your shields and so forth. With a marksman rifle or sniper player on your team, you can easily swap out his Evo shield that he currently has on, give you the better one, and continue farming the Evo. And that way, going into the end games, you're looking at a much better situation. And hopefully, we do see some of the players utilizing that to their advantage some way or another towards the end game.
Yeah, and you really do have to prioritize stacking on that damage, right? Because you don't want to be inactive in the lobby. You need to be very active, or else that's when you get caught lacking. That's when you're stuck on rotations, right? Because a really good team that's on a really good path, right, will take fights even along the way, right? When you can take fights, because every piece of damage does count to leveling up those armors. The zone is going to be pulling towards that Geyser side, just tipping outside of Fragment East. So these zones are typically very tough when you don't have a spot to work with. You can get gatekept quite often. And I mean, north side of the map right now just seems like a festival, man, of squads. As they're just in and out of the area. They're pretty much just getting sucked into the idea that there's teams all over and we can't make these rotations because they're really risky, right? So they're just trying to hold off as long as they can. They're kind of hoping for the teams in front of them to move. So Alpha Carnivore right now on a really slow path. They need to get towards the zone, but they're taking a lot of time trying to get this loot. And I mean, looting is such I want to say a simple thing in the game, a simple mechanic, I guess, if you want to call it, right? But it's such a crucial mechanic, right? Backpack management. How much is enough?
Yeah, exactly. How much is enough? But before we get into that talk right here, you can see this action on S4B as he pops up that EVA 8 and he manages to clean up that lobby. So already for the team now, they are sitting on, I think, for the most part, 1 kill point. I don't know what happened over there. But yeah, like you mentioned, looting. When you know your drop spot, you should know where there's floor loot, where there's the chest or whatever the case may be, and loot as quick as possible. Move from one building to the other, and try and make the engagement. If you've comfortably looted everything and you know that, okay, guys, this is the loot we have. Can we push and get those tags? And like you mentioned, you can't be inactive too much here in the Apex lobby because if you're getting those tags, it's sort of setting dominance. And once you do that, it's sort of like, okay, let's run away, guys. This is not the situation we want to find ourselves in. If you've been inactive, you're sort of setting instability for your team. That confidence going into the next battle, the next endgame, the next rotation. Hopefully, we're going to be seeing a lot of these teams sort of say, hey, I am here. I'm ready to take on the fight and not try to be too passive in their situations.
Yeah, man. And I mean, you know, taking up these fights and doing this damage is also just about showing presence at the end of the day, right? You don't want a squad to just run up to the building and all of a sudden you guys are engaged in this 3v3 without really much awareness, and shooting at people and showing that you're there is a really big factor. Because, for example, right here, Nibble showing a lot of presence, so a lot of teams are gonna not have the opportunity, the option to play on that building. And now Nibble's being really aggressive here. Tenchi is looking for blood, Oxstar in hand. He's trying to get the stick here, doesn't get it off. The gas is gonna pop. So now he's gonna hold things steady. 20's coming in for a little bit of backup. They're swooping in to try and do as much as they can. 20 here playing on Watson, does a lot of damage. Not too much, but look at Tenchi. Tenchi's trying to be active and get inside here, get involved. The whole of Nibble is engaged in this war against the squad here of TM as they just hold things steady. One player is knocked, leading out fast, and they do get the first on that. They will get their point in here. Tenchi swooping in, flatline in hand, takes down the one. He's looking for more here. Nibble looking to clean things up, but there's a lot of traffic happening in here. There's a team from behind, if I'm not mistaken, so now Nibble has to get involved in another fight once again as they hold things off. The armor's still good on them. They can back off. They do have the option to.
They have the option to, but it does look like that is the decision we're going to be seeing from Nibble, as they also set defenses there and just keeping a scope out right now. It's Gutbuster, and we have seen him in game number one absolutely beam, but what a tunnel of third parties that we just got in that situation of their Nibble looking to disengage now completely out of that situation. SimplySecluded looking very tough on their end as two players are now knocked and they're gonna get some confirmations. And who is the player? It looks like it's Crummins is running around the lobby, just absolutely beaming Secluded right over there.
Yeah, man, and it's just these slow rotations, teams trying to opt for a path that probably doesn't have squads, right? But when everybody in the lobby is hanging around just waiting for someone to make a move, everybody makes a move at the same time, and this is exactly what's happening. And we get these zone fights that just break loose, and it's not really fair on these teams, you know? It's everybody kind of just has to adapt and play a little bit faster. And we go back to looting. It's the looting phase that I think a lot of teams are struggling, especially in this group with, and it's slowing down the game. I mean, S4 is sitting in the zone on a replicator. Yes, I understand you want to get the meds to just make sure you get in safe, but look at where Nibble is. Nibble's being in you know, active. They're even pushing through the tunnel. They're looking for some fights right now. They know they have a lot of control of the area in Geyser where this final zone is, so they're looking for fights in a safe spot, in a spot that they know they can retreat in. As we pull in to witness exactly what is going on here is Zone Reapers building just holding off for a little bit.
Holding off here, but they may be dealt with the damage and dramatic W key that we get from Nibble. It does look, for the most part, it is passive gameplay, and Gutbuster still needing to farm that Evo as he's still on a blue. And we are reaching those end games now where if you beam 3-2-1, you can get eliminated as quick as possible. Gutbuster finally dealing enough damage now on the Evo with purple. Tenchi looking like he's a bit aggressive, and he's trying to make a play right now with his flatline, not able to connect anything, and Oxstar getting thrown over here as well. Their Zone Reapers just making sure that everything is safe on their end, trying to keep the safeness to themselves and sticking to the situation. But Nibble now looking to corner the situations as they shoot through the window, and a nice 34 coming in from that G7 Scout. Zone Reaper is trying to heal up, and there's a couple cells for their body. There goes the Seer down, so they know exactly where the locations are, left, right, and center. They can read the data. They know exactly how much health is on the family over here of Nibble.
Yeah, Nibble just... Look, I don't want to say they're nibbling away at the squad, just trying to find a little bit of damage to see if they can get an opening, but that's the first thing that came to my mind, unfortunately. And Tenchi is super active in this kind of situation. He's the one trying to enter, obviously playing Wraith. He does have that escapability, but right now Nibble's just holding things down, acting steady, and getting a lot of information on exactly how the lobby is being dictated. Look how many teams are stuck in this area though. There's all the squads that are coming from the north side of the map, getting a little bit gate kept here. Nibble's gonna be a really big opposition for them to get through if this is the situation. Luckily, the team did have a Seer on their side there, the Zone Reapers, because I mean that really deterred the push of Nibble. Without that extra information, knowing exactly where they were, it was going to be really tough for them to hold. But now, so many teams in this area. And I do wonder, actually, if Nibble's reading the zone well, that it won't be pulling towards guys, and it's actually pulling towards this compound where we see a lot of the teams situated. Nexus Gaming on the top of this roof.
Ooh, Walkie Walker, it doesn't look like he's happy with these Evo Shield. He's gonna need to either loot a body or, you know, farm off that damage right now. And for the most part, maybe he was revived into the scene right now, but a good beam coming in from it's the dodge, and the G7 Scout really living up to its name right now. It does look like they're gonna try figure out a different sort of positioning for themselves. Hopefully it is the right one on their end. 20, just making sure that defenses are up over there. And you know, we are seeing like the character or the legend at hand right now being utilized sort of quite often, and it's not really seen that much in a competitive environment. But the African Throwdown, you know, shows its uniqueness here.
Yeah, uniqueness is definitely one of those things that teams need to identify, and it makes us remember them. You know, when you have that little bit of uniqueness, that little bit of an edge that no other team really has. Still 16 squads, by the way. I'm like here thinking to myself that damn, maybe we've mowed down a couple of teams, but
yeah,
the lobby is looking exceptionally competitive tonight with 16 squads, and I'm sure everybody's feeling the pressure. It's feeling like a proper scrim, and Zone is pulling away from that Geyser side. So big call from Nibble to make this rotation and find this spot, but it doesn't really seem central to the zone, so there's still gonna have to be a lot of fights as everybody tries to make the rotation soon. Down to 16 squads for the most part. The zone will be closing in the next 2 minutes as everybody needs to start plotting their rotations, and you can see Nibble's trying to be active on this one and get ahead of everybody, but now everybody's actually seeing this one. No, actually, Cutbuster's coming in, PK in hand, yeah, charge up, can't find the shot, Cutbuster goes down to max, so now Nibble's in the top spot in a 2v3 to try and bounce this one off. Tenchi's taking up a lot of damage. There's just too many squads here that want to get involved in the fight, and now Nibble in a bad look. Unfortunately, they have to back off from the situation. Cutbuster out of this one, and the team there of Zone Reapers does so well to hold off that push, and now Nibble, everybody's focused on them. They need to just find a little bit of solace in their due to hold things down steady. But yeah, man, I mean, it was very close there. It was almost curtains for Nibbles.
Almost, and Tenchi literally running around with not that much HP at hand, but luckily for him, you know, it's Wraith, he can disengage quite successfully. They can make a play for the card and maybe miraculously get a late reboot over here, revive, and maybe that is the case that we're going to get from Tenchi as he's now making his way over to get Gutbuster. No, it doesn't look like he's actually going to be... He is doing it! This is absolutely going to be clutch moment.
This is the most ballsiest res I've seen in my lifetime. I swear. There is literally like 4 squads in and out of the area, not to mention the squad still and guys are trying to make the rotation after reading the zone. Tenchi's getting shot from behind now. He's burning them. They're on fire. But this is going to be enough. The rampage from Lean Cup here is going to be a bit of an issue. But look at Tenchi on 1 HP, literally living on a lifeline. Someone get this man a drip.
There we go. There's that drip, exactly. It's that Phoenix kit. Just a couple more seconds left on that, and he's going to be in a good position of HP. Gutbuster now alive and well, but look at his Evo. His loot as well might be detrimental. DNS is taking a couple shots back in front over here with Kaio Plays, but it does look like DNS trying to disengage, and Talon right now on literally less than 10 HP. Van as well trying to get a couple salts in for himself, but he's not looking quite good as his team has sort of disengaged in that area. But just look at what a sandwich and stacked burger, I could say, that we have of players right now. It's literally so thin, and that's here, honestly, getting all the information as much as possible on where these players are situated. And it has been a crucial player with this zone over here.
Honestly, I would hate to be the observing team right now. They must be having a tough time to pick what fights that we really need to be seen. But shout out to the production team as always, guys. Bring us this wonderful production tonight, guys, as the teams are starting to wage war. It's like a snake of squads here, dude. Like, there's just like so many squads. The names are stacked on top of each other. DNS goes down. All of a sudden to Nibble, who are just back in the game. But Zone Reapers is still a problem for them. But no, not enough is going through here. There's knocks on the opposite sides. It's Gutbuster with the PK dealing a lot of damage. Finds a knock in the mix of it all. There's gas everywhere. There's teams on top of everyone. Tenchi's trying to get a heal off. And Zone Reapers calling down the ulti here from Time to Kill. Is their ulti gonna be the decider for a lot of these squads in and around the area? There's still 12 squads up somehow. I don't even know what's going on. Zone is nowhere near any of these squads. They need to make a big rotation coming in here as everything is settled down just for a little bit. Oh, Tenchi's the only one up.
Yeah, it does look like, however, that he may get the opportunity here to res Gutbuster, but talk about a bloodbath of situation that we had over there, and now Zone Reaper is still very much alive. It does look like Shirley's gonna get knocked, however, and Time to Kill is making the move and getting the damage that he needs. But 10 squads remaining, 28 players across the board. Where is everyone going to be situated? The cover's going in. Zone Reaper's looking like a tough moment, and they're going to get eliminated. But it was a good fight from his end as he knocks a couple players, and there's third parties onto Max. And you can see the Q being popped right over here. Yasuke getting a high-tip position, and Jedi really now low on HP. Will he get eliminated? He does so indeed, but the shots are just coming back in front as Cummins now trying to get involved over here as well. And you can see Tenchi and Gutbuster quite behind as well, trying to get involved over there. And S4DB in a good position for themselves for the most part.
To open in his zone, Tenchi pops the ulti and the Q just in time here. Will he get Gutbuster out? Actually does, but it's an open area. There's so many squads around. If he gets this res, it'll be huge. But someone takes the portal, the Thermite's gonna be good. He's trying to pop their battery. He gets it off, gets the banner of Gutbuster. Somehow they're alive. He gets the one armor out, so he's gonna play with the armor swaps around him here. Tenchi trying to do a madness as a solo in the zone. They still 8 squads up. WRG still in the lobby. We see Lone in the kill feed. So they're still in here, they're still involved, and look at Tenchi on the outskirts of the zone, dishing out damage with the flatline, gets the Q to try get in here. This man is trying to survive against all the odds around him. There's so many squads, Eva 8 in hand, trying to pop up whatever shot he can, but it's not enough. Noob Goats is there to clean it up. No, he's still here. I thought he went down. He's still alive. He's still doing madness here. He drops down, Eva 8 here. He's doing scenes like Hardeki, but it's not enough to keep him in the game. Nibble's out here, 6 squads still alive. Noob Goats on a lifeline.
Honestly, what a John Wick play coming in from Tenchi as he tried to do the most he can, but it was not enough. Down to 6 squads as these players are dropping like flies. Yes, Boom trying to make a play, knowing that the players and oppositions are quite low. Carnivore now fully healed up, and Eve also revived in the situation, but it's a left, right, center as they knock a couple players, and Demons in Heaven managed to get the eliminations over there. Boom now needing to be revived as they go into the end game with 4 squads remaining and 52 seconds. That zone is going to start moving in, but WRG Lone also dealing in a couple damage over here, and they look very much quite spread out, trying to deal the across the map right now. But White Rabbit Gaming very much quiet on the end. We didn't see too much from them, but they sit in a couple kills for their team. It does look like they are sitting on 5 kill points for themselves already, and this is the final moments as we are down now to 25 seconds until the zone sort of says, you guys got to start making the move, and it's a very much open plan area. So where are these players going to be positioned here, Tendo?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. The team on the high ground with the Kraber! Oh my goodness! Yizhu comes through the Kraber shot onto the WRG member, doesn't get the knock right now, but he's looking for a pick. And I mean, this game is action left, right, and center. You can't call it for a secondary. Are probably favoring the team of WRG in this moment, but Demons in Heaven are looking to make something happen here. The Kraber is lined up for a shot, doesn't find it just yet. Unfortunately, early Axis is still involved, but one goes down, a little bit too split off from the team. Nyling gets the pick onto that. The zone is closing soon. It's still only zone 5 though, so we haven't quite entered final zone territory. So there's still the option maybe to get this res if there's enough cover fire for it. And it does look like they're gonna swoop over there, but is WRG gonna look to dive into this fight as soon as the res is starting to get popped off? WRG in a really good spot here, center zone.
Honestly, it would have been perfect if they had an Octane pop the Q, get that confirmation, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And now the zone is closing and we are getting into the final rotation. Where is it going to be, left or right? It does look like it's pushing WRG into the center. All players right now are going to be moving left, right, and center to the middle of the zone right now. And that's where it's going to unfold. And only the best of the best and those who utilize the Qs and outs to the advantage may potentially potentially be winning this. Zelly, I do like that they have a Wraith as well as an Octane to sort of get into weird positions as quick as possible when that 30 seconds is up on their time. But as for the most being, it does look like WRG are going to be really pinched because, you know, that left and right team that are positioned over there could absolutely beam WRG when they try to make those rotations, and Mila just trying to get a Kraber shot, and now 2 bullets left to his name. Will he be able to get any knock in those final rotations?
Zone's about to close in the next 10 seconds, so squads are going to be feeling this pressure. Still 3 squads up. They're trying to drop some cover there, which is really smart, but LE Axis are going to be focused quite a lot because they are the team with the least cover to work with here. But now, as everything settles, the dust falls down for a tiny little bit, as everything is about to get intense. G7 scout shots coming through from Rexu to hold off the ground. And that team's gonna have to start moving in soon, and now the zone is gonna cause a lot of pressure onto the team of LE Axis who's up there, and Lone's here with the L-Star, mowing them down, dealing so much damage. Not much you can really do from that angle as everybody's looking up for you, and they're trying to climb up there, but Lone is just farming them. WRG dominating the lobby. They're looking to close this one up. As it stands, the ulti's coming down though. There's still so much action from everywhere. There's a dome, a little bit of a safe haven for this team to work with. But WRG here, they're looking good to close it one. Still 1 squad up. Is there a solo lurking in the shadows? Yeah, it is just early access, but no, WRG closes it off. My goodness, this game was action-packed, back to back. I mean, we were screaming at the top of our lungs off here. I feel like the players are feeling the exact same energy here.
Definitely, that was really what we were asking for, those early rotations and good positioning, and we did find that coming in from most of the teams. I mean, to find 3 full squads in the end game was absolutely juicy, but Lone had to deal with that damage across the board and get the teams absolutely mowed away, as you mentioned over there.
Ooh, you remember that time that we had like 5 teams in one building, right? And Nibble was involved, and then Nibble tried to get away, and then Tenchi was somehow alive and still taking kills while having all the teams shooting at him. And yeah, what happened?
It just don't make sense, but it was happening. It was happening all over that map. I mean, it was just an absolute bloodbath.
I honestly, obviously, you know, Nibble, they went out pretty early there. I think they went out in 8th place, if I'm not mistaken, or 9th, somewhere around there. But at that point, how many kills would they have picked up? Tendo, like, I think I was seeing 6 on the 1, maybe another 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tenchi was kill leader for a stage as well, you know, while they were in shambles. So, I mean, Nibble put up some good numbers anyways, even though it was a tough spot. But yeah, I mean, we didn't really get to watch most of WRG's game, and they were pretty much just controlling the lobby for them, as it looks like.
Yeah, it was chaos, as you mentioned, you know, for observers to try and decide which team they were focusing on. I mean, we had this cluster of, you know, come live in this apartment building, let's have 7 teams in one place, and just, oh, it was chaos. But WRG coming through there with the W, so already starting to get a little bit of revenge from previous times, from those previous matches, and here is your MVP. Ira, take us through it.
Rexo, honestly, absolutely madman here for White Rabbit Gaming, clutching up 5 eliminations to his name, 2,825 damage, and it has to be that endgame rotation that we witnessed from this team, grabbing that champions as well. What a fantastic player we had on our hands over here.
Woo! And that's what you love to see, especially from your winners coming through from the second game. Technically the first game of tonight, but the second game of Group C. So we're at the halfway point where we can see Group C finally into their next phase, which is of course going to be the semi-finals where they go against the top 10 from Group D. So it's going to be madness, absolute madness after we come back from that break. As you know, short break, short little intermission to give you some time to get some popcorn. And of course, check out the NODWIN Gaming Africa website. I know I had to plug it. I'm sorry, but I have to do it. Please go check it out. There's some sick content on there. And of course, all the details you need for our upcoming events and absolute crazy things that NODWIN is planning for Africa. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this very, very short intermission. Welcome back, everyone, to the Apex Legends African Throwdown, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming Africa. Of course, my name is Esproxy. I'm your host for tonight, and I'm joined by these amazing casters that lost their absolute minds in that previous map. Naturally so, because Group C decided to come through and be the highlight of this week with an absolutely bonkers map. And the first map of tonight, if I can understand that. That was our first map of tonight. We still have 2 more to go, and of course, we'll then know who's going to be going through to the next phase for Group C. But first up, let's take a look at those standings and see who came out on top and who maybe fell a little bit short. Tendo, if you would, please take us through this.
Coming through it, we've got WRG obviously up at the top, and they managed to rack up 14 kills, guys. So when I said that we weren't really getting to see what WRG was really doing, I kind of imagined they were really controlling that south side and all the rotations on that south side, and they probably pulled in and controlled the lobby quite well after that early axis we saw at the end. They did really good as well. I mean, I was pretty impressed with how good their rotation was with the spot that they had. It was a bit tough towards the end, obviously, but sometimes you can't predict where that zone is going to go, right? In those kind of situations with 16 points. Demons in Heaven coming in with 11 points. Nibble fourth, even though they didn't get too many placement points, they come through with the kills, and we saw them kicking up those kills, definitely. S4D coming in at 5th, Nexus Gaming 6th, and then Noob Goat 7th, Full Senders at 8th, the boys at 9th, and Laggy Boys down there to round it off at 10th. And those were your teams that were popping off just a tiny little bit in that second game. Sorry, I'm getting the games confused. This whole
It's weird.
It's
It's
still
weird.
yesterday kind of thing. It's still
It's
a
the
lot.
first game of the day, but the
Numbers.
second game of the look. I win the trophy when it comes to not being able to put numbers and English together in one stream, so it's fine. You can come second place with regards to that, but I take the first prize in messing those two up. But yeah, Group C coming through there with an absolute bang of a first map coming for the day at least. Second map thus far, so we're still quite close to being able to see those teams into the semi-final spots. Of course, only the top 10 will go through from Group C, and so far we've had Nibble take one game, we've had WRG now take the second game, and yeah, it's quite interesting to see all of these other teams filtering through that and actually coming through and being quite surprising. I mean, Early Access definitely wasn't a team that we were talking about, but here they are on our lips talking about them now on the standings. So there's a few more teams that I think are going to be surprising. Tendo, what are some of the teams that you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, like you said, Early Axis came through. It was pretty surprising for most of us. We didn't really expect to see them there. I feel like we saw SimplySecluded go out pretty early, so maybe we'll see them come through. Maybe they'll fix up their rotations and have a little bit of a better time. I was kind of interested with Zoom Reapers as well, right? They were putting up a good fight against WRG when it looked like they had their back against the wall. So maybe, just maybe, caught in a tough spot. It was basically the building of doom at that situation. So maybe in a different spot they would have done a lot better. So it's going to be interesting to see these teams that we don't really have too much information about just come through, pop off, and show us exactly what they've got.
Alright, for the teams that obviously are finding themselves in 11th to 20th from that second map, and of course, you know, maybe even the same teams that they found themselves in 11th to 20th from the first map that we saw on Monday, what would you say is the main cause of that? Obviously, we've got absolute powerhouses like Nibble and WRG going, just running chaos and havoc in our lobby, but what would you say is some of the advice that you could give to those teams that need to really pick up points?
Honestly, it's time to, pick up that confidence, go get a couple tags, set the dominance, whether it's off spawn. I think really where these players are, and it does look like we're going to get into a game, so we'll go over that next time around, but yeah.
I appreciate you. You know what I have to do, and you just give me the space to do it. I appreciate you. But yes, I'm going to give it over to your casters, Tendo and Iro, to get you guys ready and prepped for the third match of Group C. But the second game of today, numbers are fantastic, and I'm probably going to ruin my day today, but it's okay. It's okay. I'll survive. You'll survive. We'll all get through this. We're all going to be ready for the Apex Legends action that is coming to your screens, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming Africa, because this is the African Throwdown Cup 2. Just do what you do and take it away.
All right, it is a time for the third game as math is becoming the real kryptonite of tonight. And I mean, I'm excited to see exactly what's going to happen, right? Thus far, 1 to Nibble, 1 to WRG in terms of, the games. Does this go back and forth once again here? Do you think now Nibble's going to show up, win this game, or do you think we're going to see a back-to-back from WRG?
Honestly, the way things are playing out, WRG seem to be like quick in terms of how they deal with stuff, how they position their team, and so forth. I mean, we saw what 6, 7 teams on each other, 5 teams, and WRG didn't put themselves into that position. In fact, they positioned themselves in a better place in the zone, and that's what got them the win. So when it comes down to say the numbers, I feel like the percentage will go down to WRG probably winning yet again another game. For 20 and Tenshi and Gutbuster, we thought they were going to disengage, but they went to the other sort of, what can I say, like a turn base, and they decided to double key zone Reapers, if I'm not mistaken. So, they thought process over there, instead of rotating, was to double key, and that put them in a pinch, having to revive Gutbuster. So the aggressive mindset needs to maybe slow down quite a bit, because they don't know who they're running into. And, we don't know a lot of the information coming in from these teams, how they're playing out, how they use the sear, the caustic gas. I mean, we saw them being pinched quite a number of times and almost eliminated across the board. And in the end, it did definitely happen. So I feel the percentage or ratio to WRG or thingy winning is going in favor of WRG.
It will definitely be interesting how everything comes down and it cracks down coming into this game. As we get our top overview of exactly where these squads are going to... Wait, hold on a second.
It's a contention.
Yeah, I was about to say, WRG normally is alone at Thermal Station. Looks like a team is picking them off in this situation. So I wonder if we tune into this right now, what is going to go down there? Because Thermal's tough, right? It's a circle. The way the loot pops work, you kind of run into each other, and exactly right there. Shout out to the ops for listening out. WRG obviously won our second game here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and it's Demons in Heaven who are looking to contest this one right now. They don't know that they're in for a tough fight, but WRG looking worse for wear to some degree, but actually they got that purple onto Rexu. If they can find this fight, it'll be really good early KP for them, to be honest.
Honestly, you're right here. Demons in Heaven, sort of. I'm not gonna say griefing WRG, but griefing their loadouts in some way or another, because they've looted up, they've taken the loot, they've taken the ammunition, the consumables, and etc. and looking to possibly disengage, get that high position. So now, Niling alone, they could easily be beamed and possibly knocked if they get a 3-2-1 on one of these players over here. And for the most part, that RNG sort of went in favor for Rexu. Getting that purple shield of Spawn is a really key moment. And you can see now full-on disengagement coming in from Demons in Heaven. And for the most part, we did see them, come second last time around, or third last time around, last game?
I think it was within the top 5, so they are definitely a really good team, and you can see that they're opting to disengage rather than take that fight. But again, teams that can test off drop always have a statistic, where it's gonna be putting yourself at a big disadvantage. Basically, you don't have, like you said, you illustrated it quite well, where you are not necessarily griefing, right? But now you split the loot between two teams. Now you have less loot, and we all know how it is. We all love to hot drop. It's a little bit of fun here and there, right? But loot-wise, it's never a good idea. You'll always be worse for wear at the end of that. And a team that's looking like it's rough for them is Alpha Carnivore, that go down to the hands of S4. And S4 being really good competition so far in the lobby. They've been holding up in a lot of these gunfights that we've seen them in. They're making some rotations, even though they can be a little bit slow, but gifted the zone a little bit this time, a lot of those North teams, especially with that pull. Oh my goodness. Dude, if this ends in fragment, it is going to be a crazy end game if we see as many teams as we did in that previous game. But teams are falling early. It looks like Noob Goats going down as well. Only the Gibraltar player up, just looking for a little bit of room to play with.
Oh, kill leader so early on, 6-9, and Akato looking really well on his end. It does look like, however, he needs to revive these two players. He's gotten the banners, and needs to actually collect the banner of Exton over there. But a couple shots onto Noob Goats right now as he's trying to disengage, and does look like for the most part the attention is on the play instead of on the banner, and that's where you're not supposed to focus on. Get that passive, get that banner right now, going to endgame with a full-on lobby, a full-on team. And I mean, Tendo, what would be the play here? Obviously banner, right?
Yeah, I think if the option to get the banner in a safe spot is there, get the banners and then prioritize this 1v1, you know. I think you can also just see that the player isn't too confident in the fight, so they're definitely not really looking to re-aggress, and they're going to be looking to get that banner. There's a lot of traffic there in that north side once again, as the norm of this lobby thus far. So we'll see a lot of fights probably in that epicenter area, trying to make their way into where Fragment West is. Squads in the north, though, I mean the south, like Nibble here. They look to be in a bit of a fight. Doesn't seem too action-packed for the most part, but they do look to be dogging down a player who's got their back against the wall. 20 up on the high ground. Nibble changed the composition, actually. You know, they were playing with the Watson, but now they're opting to play with the Horizon and the Caustic. So I wonder what the read from them was there, that, you know, it just seems like squads are hitting these late rotations and they have to stack up basically, and the Caustic's really going to give them a lot of room to work with along with Horizon, a lot of mobility. So really good game read here, I feel, coming in from Nibble.
Honestly, I think for the most part, this game is a really good Legends pick from them, because Fragment West, if it ends up there, you know, you can really stack up those canisters from Caustic and put up a really safe haven for yourself. So really think that this is going to be the play for the team right now. But Horizon, I never really fancied her as a competitive Legends. Her abilities are not that team-based, and it's a lot of solo sort of. It's like a solo clutch play if you come to it.
Yeah, I mean, understandably so. I think, you know, Horizon kind of pulls it into where Pathfinder used to fit in with the zip line, right? You know, you had a lot of, you know, vertical and horizontal mobility. Obviously, with Horizon, it's just the one. It looks like Nibble's trying to get aggressive here. They throw down the ulti, they're sucking them in, and 20 is going to be here with the R31 beaming him down. There's nowhere to run, really, when that thing starts to pull you in. And they're doing a lot of damage onto this team. Outlaws NG, our Nigerian representatives, taking up a lot of heat, and they run into the wrong team to be versing here. Luckily, they do have the Caustic in, so they can stabilize for just a moment. But why is he standing with his back behind the door? They're both standing there, and Tenchi swoops in and fries them like some scrambled eggs in the morning for breakfast. And they're out.
With a cup of tea to end with such a delicious breakfast. What a free elimination coming in for Nibble. 3 eliminations of Spawn, that evil boost as well on their shield when they farm. Definitely coming in clutch for the team. Demons in Heaven, hello, what's happening over here as WRG is now making a move, and Lone with the All-Star, he's absolutely dealing a lot, but he's gonna get knocked and he's dead. Now Nyling coming in from behind, Rexu left, right and center. They managed to pick up the eliminations over there, and WRG eliminate the team Demons in Heaven. For them, it's not really well, and now here comes the third party.
Ooh, those shots coming in from Shocker, definitely shocking us here. Takes down Lone, but Lone was the player that did go down. They are stuck in the zone, not WRG. So it's really tough for them, and actually crazy to see SimplySecluded make this full rotation from the north side of the map. The cracks are huge here, and it's signs to go. They're gonna jump onto Nyling and Rexu. Nyling goes down. It's only Rexu and SimplySecluded coming in here, showing us that fire they had on the first day.
That's what we love to see, and I mentioned a team here that I'd love to watch is coming into action, showing exactly how it's done. But what a perfect timing for them to get that third-party involvement. You know, they're trying to res in the open, thinking that it's safe, but no. Here's Secluded to come in and get that clutch moment for them. A couple eliminations, and we are seeing a different game. However, 12 squads remaining. And where's the action that we had in game number 2 as all these players sort of dive down into the lobby as they get eliminated. And again, now on 6-9, who's have the kill lead on his team, but it's only 2 players on their end. And Inakoto already with the max Evo on his end. Does look like he's dealing quite a big damage across the board. The boys trying to get in that All-Star beam, and he's gonna go down to literally 1 HP now. Noah literally being pinched, and there's that octane push. He's gonna get down for being too aggressive, and that's not what you want from your team. There goes an ultimate from Caustic and a canister to keep the players off their end. Will they get the revive in here? The boys trying to do as much as they can on their end. It does look like, for the most part, that this action is only beginning. But 6ix9ine, Nadog is dead. Yes, in the Kato, trying to make a play into the place. And there goes the thermite that's placed. And it does not look like anything's coming to their hands over here. Has in a Kato trying to disengage and get into a safe position.
Very lopsided fight that was, and it's always hard to fight in these buildings, especially with a Caustic. You know, they just cover every single angle. The boys back up on their feet, and this is it. This is a fragment zone, and this is exactly what we're gonna see. The squad stacked on top of each other once again, just trying to pick each other off as methodically as they can. Now Inakato is the only one left up on 69. Gonna have to try and make something happen. Currently the kill leader, so putting up the numbers though. Doing a lot for the team to try get them into that semi-final. This, of course, ladies and gentlemen, is the third game in this group. We had to obviously switch things around as Apex decided to give us an update, unfortunately, on the day of the Group C games. And now they're here to play it out again. And Ulti's coming down here, doing a lot of damage. And some of these players, big plays are being made here to rush on in. And this team is being unrelentless to pull up on the squad. People are getting cleaned up left, right, and center. For the most part, they don't see this player here down here. Rush in a weird spot. How is Yasuke unable to see, unless they're on the same team, obviously? I thought for a moment there that they weren't on the same team. Laggy boys are all right for the most part. Just the positioning there made him look like he was hiding away.
No. And
But
Laggy
everything's
boys,
steady.
you know, Laggy boys also coming back in game number 3. This is, you know, what we love to see, Tendo. A comeback and a half, hopefully to clutch up game number 3 and 4 to get into semi-finals. For the most part, game 1 from them was really juicy. So was it for Secluded, and we've seen that yet again in game number 3.
Yeah, and squads have died quite fast in this second
No,
game. I mean,
true.
in this third game. You know, like Nibble's here, making some plays, working their way into the zone, doing a lot of damage onto teams. Armor situation's good. They got some good loot as well. They've got a good building to work with. They've got the Caustic, so they're bunking up. Of course, WRG is no longer a threat here. So the storyline of this back and forth where it's Nibble, WRG, it's still in the playing field.
And for the most part, I am wrong with that ratio. It did look like they get eliminated. And what a beam coming in from 20 as the dog gets eliminated. It does look like Inakato, again, doing the most for his team, trying to get that revive. Here's Horizon now trying to make a play, get that loadout, and a good position for themselves as they trying to W key. And this is what I was mentioning quite early on, is that the aggressive mindset is always at 100%, no matter who they go up against. And Tenshi trying to get in a massive shot. But it does look like it is a solo player, and Inakato, finally the kill leader, being eliminated, and he's done the works and bits this time around for the lobby, but sent back to think about what he can do better next time around.
Yeah, man, I hate to be the spoiler of this game, but just based on how the lobby's lining up where Nibble is situated, I mean, they're controlling the entirety of Fragment East, and they can pretty much just dictate and see every single rotation in front of them. All these other teams stacked on top of each other. We still have a team in Epicenter trying to make this rotation in, a team pulling in on the Frag West side, very close to another team. So we're going to have about 5 teams stacked on top of each other, basically in front of Nibble. Still going to be very difficult, obviously, if these teams can make their way in. But for now, everything is steady in the zone. SimplySecluded on that construction building, trying to make their way in. The boys are waging a bit of a war. It's a wreck push, but they're handling it well. Sends them back for now. Reburst. As the team of Laggy boys holding this high ground, and they've been one of those teams coming in from the crossplay side of things that are really dominating these lobbies. And you can see exactly why. Raining down this fire here, Reburst.
Yeah, Reburst, a phenomenal play across the board, managing to get White Hornet down, and it does look like he's going to get another one over there. Or was that the confirmation? Not exactly sure. But Reburst, the Laggy boys, honestly doing the most they can in this positioning. They are literally getting beams from Rush, Titan as well. does look like they're getting eliminations on the board, and I'm not sure exactly what we're looking at in terms of team kill points, but for the most part, Rush Titan is sitting on 3. Laggy Boys with the Rampage over here, getting beams, managing to crack Yogurt Finger, and Yogurt Finger trying to make a safe rotation for himself, but it does look like he's going to get into a tough position as a third-party may come into play, but Coldfire, for the most part, he does have that seer and knows exactly where the location of Yogurt Finger is. Will he get the push in, or will they stay in their own little box safe to sound?
I just love the name Yogurt Finger. Oh, the access that comes through! But they're just pushing him too hard. There's no ways he's getting out of that. And I guess they finished up their yogurt. That's just a little bit on, you know when you're eating yogurt, and sometimes the spoon doesn't do the job. You just gotta quickly use your finger. I guess that's where it probably got the name from, right? I mean, sometimes you gotta love some of the names that people come through here with. But as everything settles for a little bit here, Nexus Gaming on the high ground here with the ridge of Epicenter.
They need to make that rotation though.
Yeah, they have to make the rotation, but they're in a good spot at least to, like, you know, get the information on exactly what's happening in the zone. Still, and they 6 squads, so the lobbies died out quite fast. Don't think it's going to be too hectic in this end game. You can see Nibble's controlling a lot of that end game real estate though, right? If that zone does pull towards them, I mean, these squads, they're going to be under so much pressure.
You can see 20 and his team are honestly just trying to deal damage now across there to Secluded. And, you know, for the most part, like you mentioned, I think this is going to be a Nibble game because that position that they have right now, they control the entire areas. Who walks in and nobody sort of... and it does look like it changes, but for the most part, Nibble can quickly make that rotation into the zone because nobody's around them and they need to start making that decision now. Secluded also on the far end, everyone sort of hugging the red zone, so it's not going to be easy. There's Tenchi sort of probably making a portal play so that the 20 and Gutbuster can follow in from behind. But we have the likes of Laggy Boy, Secluded, WRG, Crummins in here, and Walkie Walker, who's also in this game. So these 6 squads, it's only going to come down to who will be in the better position endgame. And for the most part, it does look like Nibble is finding himself in a juicy area, setting down those canisters from Caustic. And, you know, they're looking now at the team that was just outside on the heighted position, who now also now need to make those rotations.
Quite a proactive squad Nibble is, right? You know, they're always looking for any contact that they can find, you know, always really aggressive. Look at how all those teams are trying to cross this cavern here where the lava is. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath here as we tune into Wookie. On the fuse, interesting pick. Love that though. As they are just holding out here. The boys on the opposite side and dishing out a little bit of damage. Teams it's gonna get gate kept for the most part here, trying to make their way into the zone. And I imagine the team of Nexus Gaming probably still has a lot of high ground. As soon as I say that, they're actually stuck inside the bridge. They're trying to get on to this. And they're just trying to run out of the tunnel. The jump pad's gonna be good, but Jedi's in the sky. It's gonna fall. No, he's good for now. No, he's not. He's down, and it's just Dodge. Dodge is running into Nibble, though, and Nibble knows that, oh, this is some fresh blood if they've ever smelt it. But for now, Nexus Gaming's hopes and dreams in this third game are still alive. Ladies and gentlemen, the zone will be closing in the next 30 seconds, and it's going to be really, really hectic for a lot of these squads to find their way in here, especially since there's a lot of open ground to cross.
For the most part, it's been quite difficult. And, you know, for the likes of Dodge, he managed to dodge his way from Nibble. And what a good position and thought process coming in from Nibble actually to position themselves on this height over here. And, you know, they can honestly deal the most damage. Actually, on the other hand, he's also got a weird position for himself. He's getting a lot of damage with that out over there. He's now going to pop his Q to get into the positions where his teams are, and for the most part,
no,
does
dude,
look
this
like
man's
that's
gonna die. They're gonna die to them. Godbuster! Oh my goodness! LA Lakers signed this man up. He just Kobe those guys. What do you mean?
Fantastic play from Gutbuster and sitting on 3 eliminations, 1,245 damage. We may potentially be seeing yet again another MVP come into play right now. 20 for the most part, also dealing quite the damage as now he's able to crack his opposition. Secluded lol.
Man, that was just unfortunate. Secluded lol just trying to make some space to work with. Hasn't healed up just yet. The heal does pop through, probably pop the Phoenix. So Shaka's next to him. The team's okay though. The team's okay. They're vibing. Everything's alright. Nibble doesn't have control of the final end game for the most part, so they're okay to make this rotation. No one's really looking in their area. Oh, this nade comes out of nowhere. The boy is gonna have to run away from that. Slows them down just a little bit. Dodge is still involved in this fight as well. There's 12 players in the lobby. Zone 5 making it close. And I mean, I feel like it's this bloodbath because everybody kind of has to rotate out in the open after being stuck in these buildings. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the likes of Caustic now can be very vital, popping those canisters and hiding behind them to try get the cover you need and so forth. So for the most part, you know, utilizing the builds Caustics is just not going to work, and it does look like there's a little bit of a cliff and safe haven for some of these players to sort of hide behind, and maybe if they can get that position in. But it's also Nibble saying, hey, don't make that rotation too soon as they deal the damage across the board. Tenchi now just needing to build up quite a bit, taking a couple cells. Dodge for the most part looking very much damaged over there, and there goes the portal rotation for Nibble.
Yeah, and I mean, teams are just running out in the open here. 20s on a rampage with that R301, stacking up these numbers. As he drops down with the wingman, finds the shot, 2 squads left. I mean, they've almost cleaned this one up here, Nibble. But it's actually going to be a full-on 3v3 in this end game here. It's S4D who are still up. Oh, the ulti comes through. Duh, they're making this play. Nibble swinging around the corner. It's Tenchi on the opposite side. Tenchi goes down though. It's Gutbuster and 20, but look how weak the team was. S4 is. The ulti comes down as well. It's not gonna do much. I mean, look, they're just picking up the bits and pieces at this point to clean this one up for themselves, but a little bit of a struggle as the Gutbuster comes through, swoops up, and they just got that. I mean,
Beautiful.
Masterclass of rotations, holding zone, holding position, coming in from Nibble. I mean, like we said, as soon as we saw them in that frag east area, they pretty much win the game.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's such a beautiful game that we witnessed out from Nibble Esports over there. You know, the positionings, the beamings, the thermite plays, everything across the board from Nibble was amazing.
The Kobe's, don't forget about the Kobe.
The Kobe.
The caustic Kobe's, that's thing now. That's thing. But that was absolutely the Nibble map to go to. Game 3 going in purely the favor of Nibble there. Unfortunately, WG, you know, catching those third parties, and you never want to be the victim of that, unfortunately, but it happens. And really, honestly, that game was quick. I think we had 8 squads left when we were on round 2.
Yeah, really shocker, you know. Game number 2 was so intense, so beautiful to watch, and then game number 3, everyone's dead. It's like, wait, what happened?
Done, dusted, finished. Everyone is knocked and down and waiting for the final zone to come through. And it's surprising, but it's what happens in Apex, and I feel like a lot of these teams, they are just picking up the pace. It's like every single team is just getting better and better and better and better. Tendo, I mean, you know, we were talking about a few teams that we thought might pop through the woodworks and give us some surprising results. What did you think about this map? What are some of the teams that made you go, oh, okay, I see you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely S4D. And I mean, yo, guys, couldn't you have picked an easier name to say sometimes? Trying to say that name be a little bit of stumbling. You know how the numbers go. But yeah, they came through. Some really good plays from them. I think they chose a bit of an awkward rotation, you know, when we were tuning into them, but they made it work. They made it to that end game. And I mean, they're playing well as a team, and they kind of sneaking under the rug. I mean, SimplySecluded came up. You know, they won that fight. They got that third party onto WRG where we saw them out there near the countdown area. And MVP goes to none other than Tenchi, coming through with 7 kills, 2,200 damage as well on top of that. So Nibble, I mean, guys, it's a Nibble, WRG, Nibble, right? So Surely fourth game, it goes back to WRG
No,
to
you
round
can't
it off.
say no. You can't say that. No, that is a
I'm
cost of
sorry.
curse.
I'm calling the curse now.
Okay, well, folks, you heard it here first. If WRG don't get the fourth map, you know which caster to blame. But you absolutely well played there from Tenchi coming through with Nibble. I mean, he was beaming every single person that he found. Oh, just not having a good time. And I mean, Ira, you wanted to see how Horizon could be used in the competitive scene. 20 made a showcase for you there. He made it
Definitely.
his mission to show
Definitely.
you how you could use Horizon.
Like, honestly, he played it to really well, you know, jumping down, getting that wingman elimination, and then immediately reconnecting with his team with the Horizon Q. So that was really nice from him, man. It was just beautiful to see. Like I mentioned, what a beautiful gameplay that we witnessed out from Nibble.
Was absolutely stellar, and of course you're gonna have to just wait for a little while longer if you want to see that final map come through, and of course when we find out who's going to be your top 10 going through to the next phase of the African Throwdown Cup 2, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming Africa. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome everyone back to the African Throwdown Cup 2 brought to you by NODWIN Gaming Africa. So, Map 3, done and dusted. Group C almost seeded completely into the next phase, and then we will know all of the teams going through to your semi-finals, which are going to be absolutely cracked, because thus far these teams have been proving that they are ready to take all the bragging rights from Africa and say that they are the best in Apex Legends. Let's take a look at those standings to see where all the teams ended up after that third match. Obviously, this is only the match standings. We will take a look at the overall standings at the end of stream. Iro, if you wouldn't mind, please take us through it.
What am I watching right now? Is Nibble Esports come in first with 31 points, but 19 eliminations. What a game at hand for them in match number 3. But S4DB in second with 15. And just talk about if Nibble had half their points, so it'd still be first. Laggy Boys in this position with 13 points and 10 eliminations. Not that much on placement points, but still very well. And this is a team we are looking at on the outside. 69. They are have 9 points, 4th place position. The BOIS SN with 8 points, 5th position. And then Nexus Gaming in 6th. SimplySecluded in 7th. White Rabbit ZA or White Rabbit Gaming in 8th. Full Senders in 9th. And TMCB in 10th. So that will be the 10 top players for game number 3.
I'm confused because it's like all the teams that you're expecting at the top, they aren't there. I mean, early access, Zone Reapers, you know, they're in your 11th to 20th. They're some of the teams that we were looking at that were giving Nibble a run for their money in that previous map. So it just goes to show the Battle Royale, you can never expect what's going to happen here. And again, I'm going to remind you, if WRG don't take the 4th map, you need to blame Tendo because he casters cursed them. So please just add him on Twitter. It's his fault. He did it. He did it. But Tendo, I'm going to ask you, so far, last map of the group stages. We're going to be going into it shortly. Expectations for the last map? I'm not asking you to cast this curse anyone. I'm just a light, you know, expectation.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's interesting, right? Because the first map we had, or rather the second map, we had a pretty slow-paced game, you know, that kind of just bursted into action towards the mid-round, towards that end game. Come onto this third map, and the pacing all of a sudden is changed, right? And I mean, the biggest indication that the pacing has changed is when Nibble swaps their composition from what they're running in the first game, right? So I'm just curious to see if this 4th game, is the pacing going to change once more? Then it's hard to predict. It's hard to have any expectations, right? Because I'm like, all right, this is going to be a night where we're just going to be screaming at the top of our lungs because of how insane everything goes. Everybody dies in that game just now, and we don't really get to see much action, right? So it's now, we don't really know. I feel like we have to come here with an open-ended conclusion. So no cost today.
Hey, nice work there, avoiding that. Thank you, I appreciate that. But the last map of Group C is about to go underway. We will know who's going to be going through to your semi-finals for the African Throwdown Cup 2, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming Africa. Sit tight and just enjoy the show, brought to you by Tendo Players and Iro OG as they take you through it. Guys, do what you do.
Tendo. Game number 4, last game at hand right now for Group C, and for me, being one of the most entertaining for between A and C, because you know it's unpredictable who's going to be walking away with the champion, who's going to be 2nd and 3rd overall on there, and it's just massive scenes, change of tones as well as we go into from game 2 to 3. Let's see what happens in game number 4.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, like I said, not really having too many expectations here. You know, I feel like just based on how the lobby is, it's either Nibble or WRG, right? I don't think the other teams are really putting up exactly what, you know, those two teams are bringing into this one, right? So I feel like whichever has the easier rotation path, whichever has a better zone read, is probably going to round off the groups tonight. But yeah, I mean, we got to look at some of these teams that have been struggling, man, like Outlaws. We haven't seen a good look from them. I mean, unfortunately, Nibble staff, man, we wanted to see them pull up a little bit of numbers, kind of like the streamer teams from Carries, but they're not really putting it up right now. SyThic, we saw them kind of doing, you know, a bit of a madness on the first day. But now all of a sudden they're a little bit quiet, you know. Laggy Boys have impressed me. You know, they've
Yeah,
come in here, guns blazing. I mean, they got the second most kills in that game just now against a
yeah.
Nibble. So, I mean, it's all to play for in this final one. Couple more teams are really going to need some points. Some teams obviously coasting up there at the tippity top.
Now we are seeing a different sort of a fly in from the mothership is going from north to south. So let's see what this means for most of these players. Is that that's north to south, yeah. So the climatizer, the epic center, fragment west, fragment east. We know it's stacked zones rotation on teams over there, and for the most part, the south place looking very much clean and empty. Thermal station was contested by the likes of demons in heaven with the players WRG. For the most part, WRG did hunt them down, did get those eliminations, but it was that third party to sort of knock them off their feet and send them back to the lobby. But yeah, this match over here is going to be very much interesting to see exactly what will be going down. I'm hoping for, another champion rather than WRG and Nibble. Please, let's see a story to tell from maybe even Laggy Boys or Secluded, because they know how to take the aggression point and get some eliminations. And for the most part, it has been working for them since game number 1.
Yeah, man, maybe a young Demons in Heaven as well could pop through, cause a little bit of something in the lobby. Geyser right now does seem to be popping off. Bit of damage has been exchanged, but everything seems a little bit calm for now. The team is going to make their way out. Oh, it doesn't seem like an easy way out as the shots are coming through here with the wingman. The knock is through. Outlaws looking to get back into this one. They've been struggling the entirety of this group stage. Yeah, our representatives from Nigeria trying to put some decent damage in and clean this fight up. Hopefully for them, they can get these points, get into this final zone and work it. And I mean, looking at that zone, quick glimpse, it's, again, I think here, WRG and Nibble, I hate to say it, have a really good zone gifted to them. It's pulling towards the south side a little bit, not too much. It's a little bit central, but south side towards that east side a little bit. So really easy rotations for them to get into the zone.
LLG now trying to disengage as they can with 2 players on their name. Hopefully a banner recovery has been made as well. And yeah, Lava Siphon, really interesting. Oof, we're gonna see a couple players pinched over here, being sandwiched, and comes down to that. But no, Esports already getting involved in the action over here. And you can see a team wide coming in to play for them. And when do they stop, Tendo? Like, when does this team generally stop?
When do they stop? Indeed, it's when you stop putting people in front of them, and it seems like people don't get the memo. Alpha Carnivore.
Ooh.
And this is bad for Alpha Carnivore. They haven't been doing too good tonight, and surely if Nibble takes them out, yeah, it's gonna be curtains for them in the African Throwdown. Nibble, obviously unrelenting, though they don't really care about it. They'll take out whoever is in front of them. That zone pulling to Lava Siphon, and I mean, I'm getting flashbacks from when we saw Vibing in that position at Lava Siphon, when they clutched that one game out on the first day of the African Throwdown. And I mean, yeah, it's priming up to be another one of those. Look at WRG's rotation, though. They're opting to go into where staging is. There is a team there, but Lone is so far. I believe Lone's probably taking the jump tower just based on the position that he is. So he will be able to regroup with the team as quickly as possible. But that team there could catch the jump on the 2 players, and that could be really detrimental. But look at Climatizer as well. It's popping off here. And it's a good thing we tune in here to these Prowler shots. Laying it down. Cummings, though, goes down, unfortunately. Swooping back in here is the team of 69. They're looking good to clean this one up, and there have been so many contestants here at the top of the map.
Honestly, 69 have been doing really well. Game number 3 and 4, which is what we love to see. You know, it's a story to tell. And Kato, honestly, beaming, getting the most for his team over there. But it did look like X-Tex was the player to get the beams with the Prowler. And the Prowler really being a weapon at hand off spawn over here.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage. That SMG obviously being added to the game when it was in the care package, obviously, in the previous seasons. But now back as Law Loot says, smiling with the flat line, trying to do a little bit of damage. And the boys here, in a bit of a tough spot. They've been doing all right thus far, but they haven't really picked up too many points. So for them, they really do need to survive as long as they can.
Yeah.
But it does look like WRG is going to try close the distance for the most part, and they want to get involved in this fight.
And, you know, WRG know how to set that dominance, and doesn't look like for this time around they are going to full commit. They got that Bloodhound, so they can scan in to see exactly where the locations are. But for the most part, Rexu just trying to make the rotation to regroup with the team. And Nova getting ready to use his seer scan. And yeah, for the most part, yeah, you mentioned, you know, the boys that haven't had that real pop-off yet. So it could be detrimental in curtain closing moments for them if they get eliminated over here. On the other hand, DNS are absolutely beaming with that R301. It does look like we are getting a disengagement from that race because he was quite shot up quite early, and it's early access up against DNS as Indirative manages to pick up a knock on his end. He's going to get knocked on him, and that is not going to be looking good. We got two knock plays from the oppositions right now. A Q is going to be popped and a revive potentially coming into play right now. A thermite being thrown, but it's too far out into the skirts. A third party as well as we look now behind in this position that could potentially come into motion. There goes a Q into the W key format, and they're quite close to each other for the most part, but DNS do look like they're getting into the cave to disengage as much as they can, but Shocker not really knowing where the positions are of DNS, and there's a good beam from Frankenstein.
Lots of teams in this area just caught in a rotation. Also saw SimplySecluded, who do drop at Skyhook, so they're close to these fights, and I wonder if they're going to come through that tunnel. So obviously pulling all these teams away, so they do have to start to make this journey. DNS have held up quite well. They need to get some points on the board to guarantee themselves a spot into that semi-final. We haven't seen much from them, so for them, yeah, again, I mean, all these teams, like, we need to just survive as long as we can. And look, you can see that definitely just based on the number of squads. Talon, please just get out of the open, get through some cover, and get a heal off. Oh, the dead slide as well on the mountain. Oh man, that literally is the worst thing in Apex Legends. I feel like when you're trying to retreat and you hit a dead slide and it just doesn't go your way. But Zone right now going the way of course, Lava Siphon, with a couple of teams already situated. Look where Nibble is. They're in and around that zone. They know exactly what's going to be happening. Noob Goats. In a bit of a tough spot here, though.
Listen, let's move here.
It does look like it's Outlaws yet again, finding themselves in a fight in a good position over here. You can see a play now going into the stairs, and it just leaves Zede, who's left alone as he's able to beam and crack the player with that Alpstar. Chopsticks looking to make the rotation up the zone. They do get that confirmation on the hand, and they have the numbers right here. It's a 2v1 situation, but they need to go and make a play for the revive on the teammate right now. Leaf trying to get a Arcstar on these players. Will he be able to connect? He does so indeed. Doesn't get onto Chopsticks, however, but it's a good play from him. Outlaws fully teamed wiped, as I believe that is Laggy Boys now getting involved in this situation. Noob Goat's trying to disengage, and he's got the beacons or the banners to make to the beacon right there to revive. And talk about a third party of note. Laggy Boys honestly know how to do this to the best of their knowledge.
Yeah, Laggy Boys have been really good on catching teams out on rotations, I've noticed, and they just seem to be another one of those teams that are just really active in the lobby and always looking for a fight regardless of really what's happening. The rotation right now, WRG took a really long rotation coming around where the Harvester is, pulling back in the area, but you can kind of see teams starting to make their way towards Lava Siphon. The fight here is still quite prevalent. These Laggy Boys don't seem to be quite out of trouble just yet. It does seem like the team of, I believe, 69 is pushing up on them, and some fights are going to break loose. Yeah, man, they're just running through the tunnel, and they're just trying to run as fast as they can, and being stuck in this tunnel is kind of tough. 69 causing a lot of pressure as the team just trying to pull out as fast as they can. And they're just trying to close off the distance. Valkyrie, actually, from the Dogs. So, interesting to see Valkyrie getting picked in this lobby. Laggy Boys, my goodness, I swear, English can sometimes be the hardest language in the world. But Laggy Boys making their rotation out. They're safe for now, but there's squads again in the area as we see a team kind of pulling up on this location.
We did see Leafy potentially getting the revive on his players right now, as Seth and Carnivore are alive right here, but Leaf Zere probably going to be pushed over here by Inakato as well as the dog. You do also got Laggy Boys on the right side over there, so it's going to be interesting what goes down here. It's a little bit of a fest, a bloodbath that we could expect from these players right now. And for the most part, it does look like, Rebirth Laggy Boys are able to keep on running, but behind them is Inakato and the dog. They're not looking to stop right now. They want this pressure moment and these kill points at hand, and that could really change things around for them. But Laggy Boys just trying to disengage as much as they can. There goes the beams across the board with a vault at hand right there. Also, Valkyrie taking out her out over here, or one of her abilities, and dealing some damage. But just look at how Laggy Rebirth and just trying to run, and there goes the beam for the most part. A wingman knocking in the Costa, taking a bit of damage, and he needs to get some cover as Rush Titan now has the high position, but that's third party situation getting involved, and he's been all the way now to literally 40 HP as he uses his Q on Octane. That detrimental his HP as well.
Yeah, man, and sometimes you just gotta turn and fight. I feel, I understand the zone is putting a lot of pressure onto Laggy Boys. They really don't need this right now. I mean, their position is pretty good. They've been getting a lot of points throughout these games, but you never want to just falter in that fourth game. You always want to retain your consistency. And I mean, 69 is just blood hungry, dude. They're just running after this team. They've already got wounded players, but they don't really care, and they're driving into a third party. As the teams from Harvester are seeing this unfold in front of them, it's just Rush Titan, only player up, and try survive. Oh, the wall bounce comes through from Inakato. Oh my goodness, the plays are clean and gets the player down. It's showing exactly why 69 has been such a problem to deal with for a lot of squads on these rotations. They're good with their fights, man. They're really good at their fights. They start from the north side of the map and just clean in as the zone comes through. But lots of squads stuck here. Oh, I thought that player fell inside the lava. But nah, everybody's a little bit steady.
What a flick shot.
Oh, you gotta love the reposition coming from them as well, man. They're just playing so nicely. Yeah, I love what I'm seeing from 69.
Definitely well played as well, and talk about doing it in class and skill. They get into a good position over here. Don't care who they run into. If there was a team over here, they just go guns blazing in, healing up to their best that they can right now. But yeah, 69 honestly doing the most in this lobby over here. We haven't seen too much from Nibble or WRG. In fact, for the most part, I'm unable to detect WRG on the map.
It's right here.
Does look like boys. Yeah, this player just doesn't even notice they're getting shot from behind the back. The knock was almost there, but a bit overextended from the boys in that situation. Still 12 squads up, so you can definitely see how hectic it is right now in the lobby. The squads are just trying to survive for as long as physically possible to try clean up as many points as they can. It does look like Nibble has been tearing through the lobby for the most part. Been seeing Tenchi's name pop up around the feed. And I mean, look, Nibble is so active. They're just everywhere in the zone, on the map. And I mean, it makes sense right here. When you're in this kind of position where they are, you're pretty much guaranteed the semifinal spot. So you can kind of just fish around, see what you can clean up. And I mean, wait. Do you see WRG anywhere in the zone right now? I think maybe they must have gone out in a fight that broke loose somewhere around the area.
I mean, it's interesting to see that come into play, but for the most part, they've already secured semifinals, which, is really a GG's in the book. But hey, you'd love to go in with, a more confidence boost from them. But it seems as if they've been eliminated quite early, and that's going to be just what it is, man. Trying to clear out this platform over here. And it does look like 69 is going to be in a tough position as he uses his Mastiff to destroy the out from horizon. There's Tenchi now with the wingman, managing to hit 90, pulls out the EVA 8, and that player is literally a single shot on his end. It does look like 69 Gaming is just going to get absolutely disintegrated and sent back to the lobby. But a round of applause for their performance in this game and just their blood hunting moments that they've had. But it's Nibble who's gonna say GG's and stop that action out from them.
Zone Reapers against the zone, unfortunately, as they have to make their way to the top of this hill, which is really tough, especially after the changes in this area. You're pretty much left out in the open. There used to be, excuse me, a little bit of a bridge to work around, but now you have to make this strenuous rotation. It looks like they're gonna go for the jump pad play here, and I just hope that all the teams there are not gonna look at this angle and just start to beam each player individually from the sky. But for now, still 9 squads. And it's pretty much Nibble dominating and controlling a lot of real estate. And look, once again, nobody's there in these endgame positions, man. But they're there. They're holding the area. Oh, Rush. Yeah, I think Rush's time with us is probably going to be cut short pretty soon, unfortunately. I mean, Nibble's right on top of him. Oh, no, Kraber in the hands of Tenchi. This could get a little bit unruly here. I mean, and an L-Star. Oh, it's about to get hectic as the lobby is going to dwindle down pretty soon.
And
so,
got Buster, that 30-30 repeater. Remember game number 1? Let's see madness from him.
Yeah, man. I mean, the entire Nibble roster, pretty much just gunsmen, you know, marksmen in their own right, cracked aim all around the board. Teams are starting to make their way in and finding at least a little bit of homes to work with. But look at where Zone Reapers is. They're getting gatekept by early access here, who are looking to clean up a little bit more points just to guarantee themselves some safe haven as they move into this closing stages of the day. Gutbuster got a knock with the Kraber, by the way, onto Dreamer. No, it's Nibble Staff. Oh no, guys. No, it's Nibble versus Nibble Staff. Nibble Staff is doing so good this game as well. No, guys, you hate to see it.
It's like when that snipe comes into play and you see the kill feed, you're just like, oh no, I've done my management wrong.
Oh man, GG's Nibble Esports. They're gonna just go back to the blind peekers after this. Just joking around, obviously. Bit of fun as they do clean up Nibble stuff. Unfortunately, Nibble Esports, don't get it twisted. Gutbuster, Tenchi, and 20. Been putting up a lot of numbers. Early access on the edge of the zone, just trying to gatekeep as much as they can. Squads have made their way in. Everybody's steady for the most part, and 20. They're just like lobbing the Kraber around, the 3 of them, eh? Because Gutbuster got a knock. I mean, we saw Tenchi with it. It's just like, hey, let me get a turn, guys.
Let me have some fun. That is what is at hand right here for Nibble. It's some fun. They're going left, right. Look how separated they are. Tenchi is trying to get the most damage. It's like, who can be the MVP as Tenchi now deals a lot of damage, but also being held to him on his end over there, and now takes that Q out of that position. Early access trying to take advantage over what has Tenchi done to the oppositions over here. Early access just getting involved as well, and Tenchi still needing to heal up. That all-star from a long distance still getting involved. There's a Kraber hand. Will he connect? Unfortunately, not able to 20 with the Kraber hand right now, and he's trying to line up in a beautiful snipe coming in from 20. 20's not stopping any moment right now as he got that L-Star lined up, trying to get as much as he can, getting involved over here. Talk about a massive snipe on his end, however. He's going to try line up another one, and it's a 99 body shot coming in from him. 20. What are we witnessing from you over here?
Has to swap out that Kraber, obviously running out of shots, and things are getting hectic for Nibble as they're just trying to fish every single fight. So much damage on each player and kills as they pretty much control the lobby for the most part. There's still teams up, still teams that can be a little bit of a threat. The boys have done pretty well to get themselves a good spot here, and they need these points to really guarantee themselves in that top 10 for the most part. Early access have stabilized as 5 squads are left. Zone will be pulling in quite soon and causing a lot of pressure. These teams are stacked on top of each other. It's going to be really hard to play for him. Gutbuster with the 30-30, man. Just any piece of your body that he can see, he's just going to claim it pretty much.
Yeah.
Nibble's looking to get a little bit aggressive here.
You know who I still see alive is Leaf ZA. He still managed to work his way as a solo in this position. Early access is trying to deal the most, but Zelly now needing to heal as he takes a battery. And let's see what can go into play. Tenchi looking to get a knock, and not exactly sure who that was. Carnivore who gets eliminated on his end. The wingman on any weapon, give them the weapons. They will heal and show you how to use it for the most part.
Yeah, unfortunate for early access, down to one member, but they've done really well to get as many points as they can. And it just seems like all the squads are stacked up kind of just on the side of the area. Oh, Tenchi's coming through here. He's looking for a couple of picks. He got the wingman in hand, trying to find something. He's got a corner and there's a player there. Unfortunately, does the nade from 20 just Kobe them once again. Nibble Esports at this point should just be playing in the NBA with these nades that they've been throwing. Zelly's still alive, how? But not for much longer as they close him up and Tenchi takes him out of the game. 3 squads left. All of a sudden, look where they're hiding, dude. Oh no, they're unsuspecting Nexus Gaming. They're gonna look for you. And it's just Nibble raining down terror. Gutbuster comes down with the, oh, it's done, it's closed, we're finished. That's it. Let's go to the semifinals, everybody.
What a game from here. I'm expecting 20 plus kills. It does look like 20 has 16 to his
We
name.
have our Apex champion.
16.
16 to his, I swear I saw that on the banner. We're just gonna have to wait for those statistics to come through. I'm not even lying. I swear I saw the champion 16 under the banner, and what a fantastic display that we have from Nibble.
I was afraid. I was afraid for every single team that was running into Nibble there. I was afraid for Nibble Starve. I was afraid for every single team that was finding Nibble in that map, because it seems like these last 2 maps they decided to say, hey, you know, let's show everyone how to play Apex. Let's show everyone how to run with the W key and get all the kills running in that game. I mean, if 20 did get 16 kills by himself, can you just imagine what points they're picking up from that map?
I don't know. I don't know.
They may drop the most points in the group stage if he's not lying and he got 16 kills. Honestly.
That's what I saw.
I mean, Gutbuster had like 5 kills when I saw him.
I don't know.
When they tuned into him. So, hey, we'll just have to wait.
We'll have to wait and see.
Listen, like, we had the Carthaginians running away with 20 plus kill games, right? So it's not like it's something that we haven't seen before in the African Throwdown Cup, but it's definitely surprising that Nibble just decided.
I told you!
It's not 20, it's Tenchi.
Tenchi, yeah. I was thinking to myself, I was like, I think I saw Tenchi with 10 kills, and I was like, whoa, this man is kind of going through this lobby. Kind of crazy looking for these picks, but 16 kills, 3,000 damage.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, I don't think I can continue, guys. I need to go sit down. I need to have a moment. Okay, Nibble. Okay, blind peekers. Look, that joke you made about them being blind peekers after this, I don't think Nibble will let them go after this tournament. Let's be honest. Regardless of what they did to the management team, I don't think Nibble can let go of the blind peekers coming through here with a performance like that in your last group match of the African Throwdown Cup 2 coming through to your screens, brought to you by NODWIN Gaming Africa. It's ridiculous. It's... Okay, it's fine. I've composed myself. We still have to wait for those standings, of course, the overall standings as they come to your screens. But with this being the case, our last group match would be done and dusted, and we will know who's going through to your semi-finals, which is insane. Tendo, I need you to give me some time to relax. So take me through some of the highlights of today's games.
I mean, I feel like that second game rather that we watched in this group was pretty explosive, had action all around, and I mean, it was pretty exciting, you know, had us at the edge of our seats. So I think that was a pretty big highlight of the night. And I mean, after that, it was just Nibble domination, right? I mean, what else can you really say? They kind of just ran through that third map, and then fourth map. They were just like, all right, guys, this is who we are. We're a really big threat in this competition. You better just watch out for us. You know, it's hard to even say any other moments besides that first game. You know, because yeah, man, the lobbies also just like died immediately, right? Because we had like 16 squads in that fourth map, and then we were like, okay, cool, you know, everything's kind of slowing down, everybody's making these rotations, and then they just started dropping like flies.
You know, I just want to bring up this thing that this caster Tendo Play said before the fourth game. You know, he was talking about WRG obviously taking the fourth game.
Yeah.
I'm caught red-handed, unfortunately.
I feel like I needed to point it out there. Nibble said no, Tendo. No, Tendo. We're going to be taking this one. We're going to be taking this one in absolute style. And I mean, with that being the case, naturally we're going to be seeing them in the semi-finals. But let's take a look at your match for
what?
standing.
Guys, there was no kills for the rest of the lobby. Literally, they just they sucked everything up. They killed half the lobby.
Right numbers here.
They killed half the lobby.
Wow. 30 kills. That's 50% of the lobby. That's that's kills across the board. I don't think this has ever been done in any African Throwdown.
Hey, I'm not reading this, guys. It's up to you, hey?
Tendo, you take it, bro. You take it.
I mean, of course, we've got Nibble rounding off that fourth game, dropping that 30 bomb as a squad. Lovely performance. Noob Goats come straight after with 13 points. Early Access with 9 points. They were looking pretty good. You know, just tough situation for them to deal with, having to face Tenchi in that end game. Nexus Gaming, who we saw, unfortunately, just pinned at the bottom there. They managed to get the placement points, and at the end of the day, guys, this placement points really do bring it all back for you. 69 did pretty well there, finishing at 5th. Laggy Boys, then after SimplySecluded, Zone Reapers, Nibble Staff, who, you know, performed quite well, did a lot better this game, so pretty proud to see them come through with that performance. And then to round it off with that top 10 there, it is the BOIS.
We have such an interesting setup here for Group C, of course. We still have to pick up the 10 slots that are going to be allocated today. We'll know who's going to be going through to your semi-finals, and I'm happy to say it's been such an awesome group stage. I feel like this season has absolutely exploded, not only with the representation, not only with the teams really coming to the party in terms of performances and staying competitive. It's insane. You know, it's not a case of, oh, we know it's going to be X, Y, Z. We know it's going to be this. We know it's going to be this. We are constantly getting surprised, and that is just the beauty of African esports for everyone watching at home. But I think I've babbled enough. Let's take a look at those overall standings and see who's going to be moving on from Group C to the semi-finals. Tendo, take us through it.
101 points, ladies and gentlemen, and that confirms Nibble Esports to have gotten the most points in the group stage out of every other team. Coming then after is WRG. We can't take anything away. We're putting up their own numbers in their own likes. Laggy Boys, our constant team as well, you know, showing that crossplay is here to stay and they're here to game. S4D after that, Early Access coming in at 5th. Noob Goats coming in at 6th. Nexus Gaming clutching up a spot at 7th. SimplySecluded at 8th. The boys come in at 9th, and you love to see 69. They made it happen. You know, we saw Inakato doing so much for the team. Definitely my highlight player of that team, and just enough. The kills carried them through.
Wow. And just by the skin of the teeth, they made it in. So absolutely congratulations to our top 10 who are going to be moving on to the next phase of the African Throwdown, and we will say GG, well played, and thank you for joining the African Throwdown Cup 2 to LLG, Full Senders, Demons in Heaven, SyThic Esports, Zone Reapers, Nibble Staff, Outlaws NG, DefinitelyNotSweats, Alpha Carnivores, TMCB, and Dads of War. But unfortunately your journey ends here. My goodness gracious, it's been absolutely insane. And for those of you who missed maybe some of the other standings or want to catch up on those ridiculous points that were dropped. You better go check out the NODWIN Gaming Africa website. All of that will be on the site. All the information you need will be updated there for everyone to see and prepare for the semifinals. That, of course, will be coming to your screens next week. Hopefully as scheduled, as long as there's no updates that are being dropped. But so far, the group stages have been absolutely cracked, and it's all thanks to these wonderful casters that I've got by my side, Iro and Tendo, who are bringing you the fire, the action, the excitement, the chaos that is Apex Legends African Throwdown Cup 2. So thank you so much for watching tonight. We will be seeing you guys next week with the semi-finals of a lifetime. We've got some crazy groups, and if you want to catch any of the recaps or any of the updates that are coming your way, you better be checking out the social medias, the Twitters, the Facebooks, all of that. We'll have some recaps there for you guys from our casters, from our hosts, sort of just prepping you for these semi-finals because they're going to be crazy. I don't think I can stress how crazy these things are going to be. Stay with us, obviously, and hopefully we'll see you next week because, again, I can't say it enough. It's going to be nuts! So thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next week. Have a lovely evening, and again, thank you so much for the support. It's been so good. See you guys next time.